Now I would like to talk about knitting needles. For me, for a long time, I wasn't really a fan of any kind of knitting needle. I had expensive ones that didn't really work. I had cheap ones that worked really well. So I wasn't really hooked to any brand. And I was reluctant to take on needles into our range because, yeah, I wasn't really burning for any of the brands. And then one day, Mr. Bestgen, with his heritage car, it's an old Citroën 2 chevaux, he came to us, and within 4 hours he explained to me and showed me what needles can be. And for me it was clear, oh, she did it again. For me it was clear that if we take on needles, it has to be from a German brand, and the needles have to be made in Germany. And that's the case with ADDI. And Mr. Bestgen from ADDI, he really hooked me to ADDI needles. And I have here a selection of ADDI needles, and this kind of a bar, the test knitting bar, was meant to be shown to you in Cologne on H&H. We wanted to show special yarns, but also we wanted to show you the needles that go perfectly with these yarns. And not every needle goes perfectly with every yarn, so we wanted to show you the differences. I think I should now try to do it for you, with you here. My favorite needle in ADDI is the olive wood needle. It starts, I think, with 3 millimeters. If you do it finer, then the risk of breaking is there. So I think 3 millimeters is the finest we have. And this olive wood, the tips are sharper than with bamboo, for example. Also, the olive wood is a little bit harder than bamboo. So I think it's nicely slippery, and it goes very well even with this kind of stiff linen yarn that we have. But it also works well in bigger sizes like here, which we use for our Lama Soft. The transition here between the metal part and the wooden part is so soft and so smooth, you don't even feel that there is a transition. So this is, of course, you as a knitter will know, a very important part, that you have smooth movement of the stitches on your needles. So I'm a big fan of olive wood needles. But then Mr. Bestgen said, oh, Mrs. Kremke, you haven't tried our metal needles. And I said, oh, I don't like metal needles. They are cold in my hand and they make funny noises. I don't like it. And he said, wait until you've tried. And he was right. I still prefer to knit with the olive wood needles, but sometimes for some yarns, for example with this boucle yarn, which is kind of not so slippery, then I prefer to use metal needles. And these needles are so nice. They don't make any uncomfortable noises. They click a little bit, of course, but yeah, they are so shiny and they feel good in your hand. They are not cold at all. And the good thing is that the cable between the needles is like, I think you call it memory free. So they don't stay in a circle. They always come back straight again. And of course here the transition is smooth too. That's without saying for ADDI, because it's a quality needle. ADDI did some inventions in the last couple of years. They invented the ADDI Novelle, which is this one with a special kind of wavy structure. And this is meant for knitters who tend to hold the needles quite tight, and then maybe they have a pain in their hands or in their wrist. So this kind of wavy structure, the wavy surface, prevents the yarn from slipping too fast. So if you are a loose knitter and you knit with yarn that tends to slip easily over your needles, then the Novelles are really very nice to work with. We have used them here for our silk yarn, which tends to be knitted quite loosely, and the waves keep the stitches from moving too fast on your needle. So I think that's a great invention. You probably have heard about the ADDI Crazy trios. They come in different kinds, long, short, metal, bamboo. Here I have the bamboo version. So the idea is that instead of working with 5 needles, you work with 3 needles. And for me, it took a while until I really understood how to work with these. They are very, very useful, I find now, for socks and for small things that you want to knit in circles, like children hats or even sleeves for children pullovers. ADDI did something nice. They published a little booklet about how to knit with the ADDI Crazies, because when you knit socks with it, the distribution of stitches on your needles is of course very different from when you knit with 5 needles. So the whole structure of the sock has become different now, and so this little booklet helps. You can order it from us, of course, but also there are a lot of books in the market now about knitting socks with ADDI Crazy Trio. So we have all the different kinds in our range. Of course, we also have those luxurious sets of needles, the click-ons, we have the cables, we have scissors. So we have almost the whole ADDI range in our range. Stock may sometimes be a little bit low, but this is because the demand for ADDI needles is very strong at the moment, and ADDI also had to reduce work shifts due to the situation right now. So they had some delivery problems, but we hope that they will be solved soon. And we try our best, and ADDI tries their best to fulfill the orders quickly. I forgot one favorite thing, my crochet needle. Sorry, I have to mention this to you. It just popped into my eye here. The olive wood crochet needle is so nice in your hand. It's so much nicer than all the artificial fiber ones. And the more you crochet with it, the nicer it gets, because the grease in your hand it just feels great. And it has kind of a, I don't know how you call this, a little surface here that keeps from slipping. And you can see it comes in very fine sizes, and it's very nice to work with. So if I crochet, I use this one. Yeah, that's my little introduction of our knitting bar with ADDI. ADDI, quality work made in Germany.